and welcome to another EV Geek Studio review. As always, I'm Joel. He is Sebastian. Today, as you can see, Cadillac Escalade IQ, courtesy of Parker Cadillac here in Little Rock. Officially the most expensive car we have reviewed, with a list price of, Sebastian?
$153,000.
And we're going to show you why it's listed for $153,000. All right, Sebastian, first impressions.
Yeah, so this is the new pinnacle of the platform formerly known as Ultium.
Yes.
You know, the Hummer EV was the flagship vehicle for the longest time because it was the most crazy. It has been usurped. It is now this. So Cadillac Escalade IQ has the 24 module, not Ultium pack, which is, I believe, usable 215 kilowatt hours, like 240 kilowatt hours gross, which is insane. It rides on these 24-inch wheels like the Sierra EV did and the Silverado RST does as well. It's on air suspension. It's got a big old front trunk. It's got power open and closing doors.
Yes.
It's
passenger screen.
This is the nicest vehicle Cadillac currently makes, outside of, I guess, maybe the Celestiq that no one can actually have.
Yep.
Unless you just have lots and lots and lots of money and Cadillac thinks you're cool.
Yep.
But yeah, this thing is a beast and a monster, and honestly a little terrifying.
It is. It's very intimidating once you get in and start driving it, because it's just so big. So just like with all of our other reviews, we'll do a quick tour of the outside, give you a really good tour of the inside, and then a driving review and our final thoughts. All right, Sebastian, let's do a quick walk around of the Escalade IQ.
Yeah, so again, this is the 2020, is this the 2024 or 2025, do you know?
I don't know.
I think it's 25. Anyway,
Sure, that's what we'll call it.
It's an Escalade IQ Sport 2 trim level. So there's also the Luxury 1, 2, and 3. But this one, being the Sport 2, has this kind of all black front end, the black roof, which is actually an option, we'll talk about in a minute, and big old front trunk. We'll look at it in a second. It also comes on these 24-inch wheels that I think look pretty dang good.
These things are huge.
And they have like an insert to them as well, so they're almost kind of aero wheel style. But yeah, they're huge. These are, what are they, where'd it go? 275 50 R24.
Yes.
That's insane.
And they will not be cheap to replace.
But they have to, A, be insane, because this is a vehicle that weighs over 9,000 pounds. And yeah, just craziness. I really like the way this thing looks. It looks like an Escalade is supposed to. It looks over the top. It looks crazy. You've got stuff like your side marker light being built in kind of here, integrated like a sail panel almost kind of deal. It's very, very cool stuff. You've got on this thing, we'll go ahead and talk about doors. These are not handles, they don't pull. There's a button, they power open. Because who can be bothered to open their own door?
That's right.
And to close, you just kind of give it a...
And does a soft close.
And it does a soft close, yeah. Because who can be bothered? Same thing on the rear doors, we'll talk about it in a second. Charge port door back here is powered for literally no reason other than they could. You operate it the same way you operate the other powered, the charge doors that aren't powered. You press in on it, and it does the little motorized thing, and you have your CCS port. It cracks me up every time we pick up a GM vehicle.
Yep.
This is upside down.
It is.
But you have a CCS port. This vehicle can charge at Tesla superchargers like the other GM cars, and like the other 24 module, not Ultium packs. It's the same thing where it drives around. It's a 400 volt car. You go to a charger that supports high power charging or high voltage charging, and it does a contactor ka-chunk. Becomes an 800 volt battery pack, can charge at almost 400 kilowatts.
Ooh. It's
like 360, 370 kilowatts. However, on a supercharger, it stays in 400 volt mode, so it'll do half that.
Yep.
So it'll do like 175, 180.
Yep.
But it does support them. It does route planning, all that. To close it, press that button there, it power closes, because why not? Coming around back, it looks like, so it carries a lot of the same design trends that you see on the other electric Cadillacs, where you kind of have this split tail light, where you have part of the light up here, part of the light down here. You also have this kind of cool integrated third brake light that goes up and kind of follows the spoiler line, which is neat. You can see here, I believe the rear lights do a lighting animation when you unlock the car or approach. Let's see.
Yep.
Cool.
Because it can.
Because it can. To open it, you press on Cadillac badge. See, it opens up. This is a 3-row SUV, so the trunk is not as quite large as you might think it would be. However, you can from here easily fold down, wrong way, fold down, there we go, the 3rd row seats. And now you have a colossal trunk. You see it hit that seat there, so that's as low as it'll go. Yep. You can also from here raise up the 3rd row, which is convenient and nice.
Oop, it's hitting that seat.
It got stuck. Anyway, but you can do it. You also have back here a 120 volt outlet, which I don't think it's very high power. I think like one of the Frunk we'll talk about in a second is only 400 watts, but it is there. You can also see you have a bunch of accessories. This comes up and there's like a little bit of storage here for like the EVSE. I love that this one, because it's a loaner, someone's been using it and charging it off of a 120 volt plug.
It's going to take them a while to get it.
Which is going to take them a while, because
a long
again,
time.
212, 215 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Yep.
However,
adding 4 to 5 kilowatts an hour.
it's there. Power tailgate, of course, power close as well. Let's look at the back seat real quick.
Let's do it.
So we're going to come around here. We'll do it on the passenger side. Why not? I am going to press the button, let the door. It was smart enough to know I was standing here.
Yep.
We'll just pull it the rest of the way.
So this two-tone color is awesome.
Hey, I'm going to run around and start it real quick so your screen comes on.
So as you can see, we have a full glass roof that covers front to back. Like I said, you have the tune code color. It's the tan and the black, which looks awesome.
Forgive the dinging.
Sebastian is in the front. I'm going to shut the door because we have a boat coming down the river. So as you can see down here, you have the, how many zone climate did you say it was?
So from looking at the front screen, it looks like it's 5 zone, because you have 2 up front, 2 for the 2nd row, and a 3rd row zone.
Yeah, actually you have.
No, because that's just fan
gotcha,
speed.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha, which is 1.
So 5 zone climate is still insane.
Yes.
And I believe on that screen back there as well, you can do. Let's see, what does this one do? More climate stuff. Controls for lighting doors.
You have heated seats as well.
Yeah. So this one does not have the executive seating package on the 2nd row, which I think is the correct choice. I don't think you should get the executive seating package because it makes the 3rd row completely unusable. The 3rd row is not very big. I got back there earlier. I couldn't. My head was touching the roof. It's not super huge.
More room in the ID Buzz.
Oh, more room in the ID Buzz, but that's also a minivan and not a.
Yep.
Anyway. But it is a usable 3rd row for like children or very short trips.
Yep.
2nd row, however, I'm assuming feels pretty nice, pretty good.
No problems here, yeah.
Okay, let's hop back out real quick.
So you just gotta pull the handle, and it opens for you. Screaming luxury.
And I'm gonna come around and let's go look at the front.
Let's go look at the front.
So, to open the front trunk on the key, you've got a button, press and hold. And it's a pretty decent sized front trunk, and it's carpeted.
Yes.
This is the first Ultium vehicle we've seen this front trunk. They're all generally this size. This one is a little deeper, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's carpeted.
Yes.
Which is an interesting decision. I guess it's more like a trunk and less like a utility space. And there's that 400 volt, 400 watt 200 or 120 outlet, and you can see it says on the label there, maxed 400 watts. You also have your emergency button in there because you, in theory, could have somebody in here.
My little son could fit in here if you wanted to.
Not that you should, but you could. And so yeah.
Got some tie downs too as well.
You can also see you've got your wiping fluid, and on the other side is where the 12 volt battery is, and it looks like someone has pulled the plastic panel off for some reason. It's a great question. Maybe we can ask about that.
Yep.
Hold, press and hold again to close. And yeah, and this thing just looks super cool. It has the same lighting animation you see on the other Cadillacs as well on the front end, where this bar fills up and then each of the individual pixels fills up and then this like fills up. It's super hard to show in the daytime.
But if you see one of these in your rearview mirror at night, it's awesome. Dude.
And you know what it is.
You know what it is.
It's a Cadillac Escalade IQ. So I think that's about all I want to cover on the outside. You ready to hop in?
Well, let's hop in and we'll give you a quick tour of the front seat, and then Sebastian will go over infotainment and technology, and then we will head out on the road. Sebastian, why don't you give us a quick tour of the front interior here of the Escalade IQ?
Yeah, so just first off, these seats are really good. They're really comfortable. They're big seats for big Americans, and they're super nice. They also adjust in 17 different ways, and I believe if you hit one of these buttons, oh, I just turned on a massage by accident. Look at me go. There you go.
I did too. If you push that in, their massage kicks.
If you want to look over here on the screen, you also have your seat memory, of course. You can come in here though, and you can adjust so forward, rearward, and height. You can come in here and adjust the backrest, decline, the cushion tilt. You can also do all of this on the door, of course. I was trying to see. I thought it said it had adjustable bolsters. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so you can increase and decrease how much it squeezes you and hugs you, which it is hugging and squeezing pretty hard like that. Sorry. You can do lumbar and upper shoulder. Nice. And yeah, then you have your seat memory, which you can control on the door as well, in addition to moving to entry exit. And you can do this for the front driver and passenger, and the same level of adjustments for each. So let's look at the general layout here. 3 screens across the dash. You've got your driver's display, infotainment, and a passenger display. And technically the infotainment and driver's display are the same screen, but anyway.
You cannot see that from over there.
I can see it right now because we're in park.
Gotcha.
When you go and drive, it does a cool filter, and then it becomes invisible to me,
Yep.
which is pretty sweet. I do notice it has, you can tell it has like a polarizing filter on it because it doesn't look as bright as this one does, even though they're at the same brightness level. Not a big deal, especially if you're at night or whatever, you can be able to see it just fine. Looking down here, you have another screen. You also have not one, but 2 wireless phone chargers, and they have ducting, so they're cooled.
Yep.
You have a dial here that can control everything on the screen. It's also a touch screen. You have your volume knob, quick and easy, as well as shortcut keys to jump into like the home or music or the map, etc. Cup holders. This does pop down if you have something with a handle. Pop that back up. You can open up your center console. Big old center console.
3
two USB-Cs here, an HDMI port, and another USB-C port, as well as a 12-volt outlet.
In case you want to, play with your PlayStation on the screen up here or something.
You want to Fortnite and drive or something.
Fortnite and drive, that's
or
right.
Fortnite and ride, sorry. Let's look at the bottom screen first. That seems like a good place to start.
Let's start there.
Because this is the part that's truly unique to the Escalade IQ, because a lot of the rest of this is very similar to the other GM new software experience. So by kind of default, you're on this climate screen, right? You've got your temperatures for each passenger, each zone. You have over here, you can go in and set up your airflow, set up where you want it to blow, etc. for each row. You can come in here, you have your seat menu, so you can turn on your heated steering wheel, cooled seats, heated seats, and you can do heated all the seat or just heat back.
Cool.
Joel's like, yay.
Yay.
And then you can do the same thing. You can turn on the heated seats for the second row from here as well. You also get your massage functions, and then again, your position menu. If you come here, oh, Joel's messing with the seated massage.
Sorry.
It's okay. You come here, you have a control menu. So this is, you can set up child safety or child locks. You can hit drive. You have traction control, lanes assistance, auto hold, and one pedal driving. We have it on high because
that's what we like.
That's what we like. In the GM vehicles though, high is strong.
High is strong.
Especially in this thing. Doors and windows, so you can set up your liftgate height here, lockouts, etc. You can also open the glove box.
There you go.
Big old glove box. You come in here, you also get lighting control, your garage door openers. You can control the heads-up display, which it's a pretty basic heads-up display. It's the same as the other GM cars, as well as rear-wheel steering. This does have what Cadillac calls arrival mode, which is crab walk. Or I think Chevy calls it sidewinder.
Yep.
Anyway, and the fact that you can crab walk a Escalade is hilarious to me. You can also come in here to park, and you have a quick button for park assist. So those are your sensors. Do auto park, camera, and then if you wanted to have the interior motion sensor on after you lock it, so that if there's someone in here or whatever, it would set the alarm off.
Well, that's good.
You can also come here to doors, and now you can open and close the doors from the screen here. So I can hit this one and tell Joel to get out.
I never need to use the handle.
And I can close it. And you can see here, it's a soft close door. Yep. You can also open the charge port from here. You can unlock and lock, open the glove box again, and child safety locks. Power doors are set to max. Ooh, what is this? Hold on. Maximum opening, brake to close, drive. Oh, wait, that's awesome. So that means if I'm getting in, cool. Oh. I think the wind keeps hitting it.
Yep.
Anyway, when I hit the brake, it would automatically close, which is pretty sweet. Anyway, I also appreciate this does not have a start-stop button. Good. It's a modern
Just
EV.
get in and go.
It shouldn't. You can come in here, you can also hit this button here, and you have kind of in the similar vein to the other GM vehicles where you have kind of your quick toggles. So you can have, this can be moved around, like so if you want camera, there you go. You can put camera up top, for example, and you can swipe through these pages, and it's a lot of the same stuff, but it's just kind of your little quick toggles. You tap that to get it out of the way. You also can hit here for your headlights to do your manual headlight control. This is to turn on and off lane keep. You actually double tap or hold, and then you can hit that button to pull up cameras. This vehicle does have 360 cameras. You can do the same kind of general GM vehicle thing where you can do front, you can do front overhead, and then down the front sides you can do rear overhead, rear sides, and also hitch view. You also have trailer, so if you had your trailer cameras set up, you can do that. This vehicle also has a trailer brake controller.
Sweet.
Makes sense. And then you have your settings, so you can turn on and off guidelines and etc. Hello? Anyway, let me go back home. So, this is GM's Android automotive system. It works exactly how you would expect it to. I'm actually going to primarily navigate using the knob because the screen is a little far away.
It is.
So when you go into vehicle status, this is like in the other Ultium vehicles where you click in, it takes it a second to load. Actually, that loaded faster than they usually do. And you can fly around the car and tap on and see certain things. So tire pressure, 66 PSI, dadgum. Energy efficiency, what's this one?
2.1.
Energy usage, 74 on that tire. You can also come in here, see tire pressures just like that. You can come in here and add to just driver display. So if I tap that, I don't actually see where it popped up. Interesting. Oh, it was right there.
Yeah.
I'm so blind. I'm so sorry. Energy info, so you can look at your energy information and usage. So you can see right now, we currently have used 1.6 kilowatt hours of energy just sitting here. And I can add to display. Boom. Now it's there. You can come in, what's air quality? Ah, so right now it's 16 PM 2.5.
Which is good.
I can add to here. And now I'll always know the air quality. You also have air quality index, and it tells you what that means. Cool. I'm actually going to go back to energy info because that's what I find interesting. Dude.
He likes.
And actually, I don't want that one. I want energy efficiency. There we go.
So we don't have any right now because we're not driving.
So apparently on EPA testing, this did 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
I believe Cadillac claims around 450 miles on their full charge. We are at 55%, and it says 257 miles remaining.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Which is insane.
That's more than your Bolt, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
At 55% here.
You got your drive modes, so you have touring, sport mode, snow ice, tow haul, and my mode. My mode is like the other GM vehicles. You can go in and you set steering, touring and sport, suspension, touring and sport, motor sound, touring. Touring is off, sport is fake noises. And how you want the acceleration to feel.
You know, Sebastian likes to hit that sport.
And I'm going to leave suspension on touring, put on sport here. You also have VMAX mode, which I believe, if I remember right, VMAX mode does automatically turn on sounds. However, VMAX is how you do the vehicle's boost function. And it's not a true boost function where you get like a 10-second limit, but you don't get full power unless that's turned on. Now, you get full power the whole time you're driving, but you have to go in and turn it on. You can actually hear it kicked on the compressor and everything. So I'm going to pop that back off. You can also quickly turn one pedal on and off from right there as well, in addition to having it down here on the bottom. My Cadillac is for GM account stuff. You have Google Assistant here, so you can give voice commands and tell it to do things. Play Store, so you can install apps such as Spotify or whatnot. You have your charging menu, so this is a lot like the other GM vehicles where you have your charge limit. So right now it's set to 100%. You can set down to 50%, which it says will be 232 miles. That's insane.
Yeah, 100% was 4. We'll go back to 100%. What was that?
465 is actually what it's saying right now. You can carry out charging schedules. You can come in here, you set your home location, you have on-demand preconditioning, and it says via same little, just like an athlete, your battery needs a warm-up. And so you can on-demand precondition. You can also set up what temperature you want the cabin to be if you remote start the car. come in here, you get cameras, trailering, you've got ambient lighting in here, auto park, Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so basically the same features you have on the screen down here, you have up here.
Right, you can come in here to Google Maps, and it's the same as Google Maps and the other GM vehicles. I am curious to see if this one has... I'm going to come in here. I do like on this one, the keyboard comes up on the bottom screen, which is a more convenient, because you, again, far away. I'm going to go to Austin, Texas. Yeehaw. It says mini charge stops. Boom. We're going to get there. It says 11 to 4 p.m. We'll get there at 30%, 2 stops. It's having us do a long stop here. I probably would break that into a shorter stop and just stop a little sooner, maybe somewhere around Dallas. I do like, though, this is the first time I've seen, it says we're going to be using Super Cruise for 7 hours and 10 minutes. It's actually telling us how much of this highway Super Cruise is available on.
Which is a big chunk of it.
Which is a pretty neat little feature.
Yep.
And you can see, too, if you go in here to charging stops, it's getting us to this one at 19%, which in this vehicle is probably too high, honestly. Let's see here. Anyway, I was looking to see if there was a plug fit filter, because this can support superchargers. Anyway, but it does do route planning. It's pretty quick, pretty snappy. And you have the ability to, which I guess you can hand me. Oh, golly, I'm hitting all sorts of buttons trying to do that. You also have the ability here to do your music, of course. You can hit this button and you get kind of a split screen view. And you can hit the pencil here and choose what you want on the side there. So like right now it'd be music, which makes sense. And then you have your map smaller. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Not really. Let's look at the steering wheel real quick.
Passing the baton to you.
All right, so looking at the steering wheel here, you've got Super Cruise, so you have this black portion on the top that works as an LED function, as well as your driver monitoring camera. And then you kind of have a 2-spoke design, although these are chunky spokes. And you have your typical buttons you would expect. So this is your gap adjust, cruise control set. This activates Super Cruise, heated steering wheel, regular cruise. Here is a 1-tap button to that VMAX mode. So you can just, on the steering wheel, turn on your boost function. You also have this to control the driver's display, volume, and all your radio controls here. You also have a regen paddle on demand here on the left side, and this one is actually more of a pedal to where it is like, it judges how hard you're squeezing it. It's not just on or off like some of the other GM vehicles. You do not have any buttons on the back of the steering wheel here because you have volume here. If you cycle on this button here, you can see right now we are on just like normal gauges, but you can actually cycle through and have Google Maps, which is a huge view, kind of awesome. You also get your driver's assistance. So you see this would show you kind of cars around you or whatnot, and then you have
night vision.
Night vision, which night vision is cool. It takes it a second to open.
So you talked about this. Great if you live on a country road.
Yeah, so this would be if you're on a country road and you know there's a lot of animals and stuff about. It uses an IR camera to like kind of illuminate anything that's alive. You can also show it does object approaching on driver's and passenger side. And so, yeah, so it actually warns you if anything is kind of coming up around you. You also have here on the left, you have your air suspension, so you can raise and lower the car. You can open front trunk from here, open up the trunk, do gauge cluster, all that, and then you have your normal kind of door controls.
Yeah.
Anything else, Joel, on the inside here?
I think that's it. I think we're going to get our cameras out and get ready for our drive review and then head on back to Parker Cadillac. See you all in a bit. All right, we are back. Sebastian is behind the wheel. So a couple things we didn't point out when we were going over the inside of the vehicle. First, of course, we say everything should be standard on, this should be standard on every EV, and that is the rear view camera mirror. Plus, Sebastian, how many speakers did you say were in this car?
Yeah, it's a 36 speaker AKG reference system. And if you just look at you right now, you can see there's the one on the A-pillar.
Yep.
There's one on the dash. There's, of course, the door speakers.
Yep.
If you look right above you, there's another one. There's also speakers in your headrest.
Yeah, I forgot about those. See, there's two right there on that side.
Yeah, there's speakers all
everywhere.
over the thing, and it bumps.
It sounds really good.
It sounds really good. Yeah. You also get, which this is really cool, this is the first GM vehicle I've seen this implemented in. If you do your turn signal, I'm going to get through this intersection first before I do that, you actually get a camera view.
Look at that.
So, you know, we see this in like Hyundai, Kia, Tesla's doing this now. It's cool to see GM adding that, and of course it's on this one that's, you know, the flagship GM.
But it should be something just simple as a software update.
Yeah, it should be.
That's what Tesla made theirs, just a software update.
But yeah, I mean, pretty sweet. So we've been driving around for a little while on these city roads, and it is hard to understate, or like you can't overstate how big this vehicle is.
And you were driving the high suspension.
Yeah, so I'm right now still in high suspension because it makes it ride a little softer. I feel like you can soak up a little bit more bumps or whatever.
Look at that efficiency, people.
Yeah, that's some awesome efficiency. We have one pedal in high, which is
goodness gracious.
High.
1.6
you know,
kilowatts.
doing 35 miles an hour and pulling 164 kilowatts of regen.
Yep.
I accidentally hit the brake a little too hard there. My bad. And yeah, it's just, it drives and rides a lot like the other Ultium vehicles do, which is kind of what you would expect, right? It's the same motors as like the Sierra and the Silverado RST, same battery pack and all that. So you expect the driving dynamics to be very similar. And that's not a bad thing at all. It's just, you know, you can't, this is a huge vehicle. I'm excited to get on the interstate and use Super Cruise because Super Cruise makes driving these gigantic vehicles just that much easier.
What did you notice about the steering when you kind of gave it a little bit of acceleration?
Oh yeah. So this, like the Sierra and the Silverado RST, is if you have it in the they call VMAX mode, the GMCs are the Thor's hammer, the Chevys are wide open Watts. If you have it in those modes and you floor it, you torque steer like crazy.
Yeah.
Like it just wants to twist you straight into the other lane or whatever. You have to really fight against it. That said, in just normal day-to-day driving, this is one of the lightest like steering wheels.
And you're on the sports steering, correct?
Am I?
Steering
yes.
or sport?
Oh, let me put it in tour. Whoa!
Big difference?
Huge. It's so soft. Like you barely do it and you just waft. And it requires no real effort to turn the wheel.
It probably almost feels like a steer-by-wire, doesn't it?
Almost.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot, and this is going to sound hilarious. I have a 1979 Ford F100 pickup truck, and it's one of those that has the super skinny wheel that you can turn with your pinky. It reminds me a lot of that. It's not that soft.
Yeah.
Because, you know, now that said, this has rear wheel steering. It has a good turning radius. You know, in that truck, you steer with your pinky because you have to turn it like 7 times lock to lock.
Get that thing around.
But it just, the steering is so effortless and light. It does the GM safety seat stuff where it vibrates the seats to warn you. Like earlier when I was looking at the screen, it told me I wasn't paying attention and vibrated my seat to tell me I just touched the lane line right there because it kind of merges. It vibrated the right side of my seat to tell me I was on the right lane. I'm going to do my turn signal. We're going to get onto the interstate and we are going to engage Super Cruise. So you hit this button there. Cruise braking on, adaptive cruise set, it's blinking blue. It's blinking blue, it is green, we are now super cruising. I'm going to tap my turn signal, looking for an opening, changing lanes.
It even tells you on the screen it's changing lanes. And you get the camera as well.
Boom.
Yep.
That was a little herky-jerky right there, but I think it's because of where we were in the intersection.
We were in a little curve too.
It's already looking for an opening again because this guy is in the middle lane doing 6 under the speed limit.
Yes.
I'm actually going to set up to... Okay, maybe not that fast.
So I know we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but this has a huge glass roof.
Giant glass roof. It is not electrochromic, so it has no tinting to it, and it doesn't have a shade.
Yeah.
I feel like on the Escalade, you know, that's what they did on the Sierra, that's what they've done on the Silverado, that's what they do on, well, I guess the Hummer is different, because the Hummer is removable and it's plastic. But, you know, the Silverado and Sierra, it doesn't do anything, and there's actually a dealer accessory you can buy for a shade. I feel like this, it was a miss for it to not be electrochromic.
$153,000 car.
It should have some sort of dimming, either being a retractable shade or doing the cool electrochromic stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a miss. I do appreciate having a big glass roof, though. It just makes it so airy and open in here. It's super nice.
And it allows us to add another camera.
And it allows us to add another camera. It's good for car reviews.
Yes.
That's why they do it. Yep. I really like this, having the camera come up. It's a little bit more peace of mind, right?
Yep.
In addition to having the side mirrors with the blind spot warning and all that. And, I mean, Super Cruise, pretty much on all of our interstates around here, in Little Rock, and like when I drove that Sierra to my house or whatever, Super Cruise has worked perfectly fine. I see some stuff online that sometimes it does stuff people wouldn't expect it to do or whatever, and I do agree sometimes like when it disengages, the communication's a little weird. But on our roads, it seems to do just fine. Especially on like a lot of our stuff is new.
Yep.
Or has been newly redone or whatever. And so the speed at which it seems like they've been able to come out and remap it, because it is a map system, is pretty impressive. And Super Cruise now works on more roads. It's not just, you know, controlled access interstate highways like this. It also works on like 2-lane rural highways or whatever, as long as it's been mapped. Because like I live on a 2-lane highway and it works on my road. Yep. Which is cool. I love it. Yep. And so yeah, it's just these driver assistance features, and you can see it's keeping us dead center in the lane around the corner. It's doing a good job.
Yep. No, none of that ping pong method, ping pong action or anything like that. It's staying center in a lane.
I also like, so I have GVS going right now just so that I could see what it looks like on the screen. So I have it on the Google Maps display right now, and you can see it just showing me my map with the route highlighted and giving me the directions dead center. But one thing I do wish is I wish it had my ETA somewhere on there.
Oh, it doesn't, you're right.
However, oh, actually it's not up there. I think the Sierra put the ETA in the heads-up display. This one is not. It is, though, giving me the directions in the heads-up display, like telling me in a mile it wants me to take a right exit, tells me I need to be in the right lane, etc. In addition to showing me like my driver's assistant stuff up there. Yeah, and also, it's quiet in here.
It is quiet. So quiet.
And that's something, too. This is a completely random fact, and no one actually cares about it.
We're doing about 3 or 4 over the speed limit. We're doing, what, 70? And it's...
Yeah,
so
it's quiet.
No wind noise going over the side mirrors or anything. I mean, it's just a...
And just like little things, like as far as like refinement goes, earlier I rolled down the window, it was like dead silent going down. You didn't hear the window motor, which is a weird thing to point out, but like I noticed it because I was like, wait a minute, did that just, oh.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this thing is so well, I mean, it's a $153,000 car. It's an Escalade. It is supposed to be the pinnacle of nice like cars.
Storage.
I didn't even realize that was down there.
I just saw it earlier. A huge storage area down here. It's the little Easter eggs we're finding right now. So yeah.
So yeah, this thing is so cool, and like it rides well. I'm running. I don't know what else to say. This is a good vehicle. It's 153 grand. It should be a good vehicle, but GM did a good job on building an electric Escalade.
Super Cruise did a good job.
Super Cruise just did a good job slowing down for this person who got on the interstate doing 60.
Yep, to 30 miles an hour.
Whatever.
Yep. All right, we're gonna wrap up our driving review here. Head back to Parker Cadillac and do our final thoughts. Stay tuned. We have arrived back here at Parker Cadillac. So final thoughts. I'll start, Sebastian. You can make you go second this time. This is like the epitome of luxury. I mean, GM, I feel like on this got almost everything right. I mean, it drives great. The infotainment is great. I love this little, fourth display you want to call it, because there's 3 up here. I just love everything about this car. It's quiet. I'm getting massaged right now as I film this video. It's just really great. I mean, it's not the most efficient car. I mean, our all drive got 1.7 miles per kilowatt, but if you're driving this car, you really don't care about efficiency. Sebastian, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, GM's been making Escalades for a while. The Escalade, especially over the last couple, recent generations, has actually started to feel more like a nice car on its own and less like just a more expensive Tahoe or Suburban. And so this, I mean, makes sense. It's the electric new Escalade. It is so nice. The material, like seating materials, are great. You've got
two-tone color.
This is
awesome,
plasticky in some spots, but it's kind of that wood design, and you got some hard rubber, like for your charging pads or whatever. But like all of this is covered in leather. Like it's a nice place to be. It feels great. The infotainment system's awesome. I'm also getting a massage, and I'm falling in love over here.
It's the wave massage. It's the wave one you're getting.
And yeah, and just like you've got a lot of cool tech in here, with auto open and closed doors, which is just ridiculous. And the fact that it's all 4 doors is also really cool. And yeah, it drives like you would expect a 9,000-pound giant SUV to drive. In a lot of ways, it drives like a boat. But also, it has plenty of power if you put your foot into it, and it's going to torque steer and all that because it shifts its weight. It's just going to...
And you mentioned the steering earlier, how easy it was to turn.
Yes, the wheel is super, I don't even know, I barely touch it, and it twitches over here. Anyway, it's a super light wheel. The suspension soaks up bumps super well. And, I mean, and it's also just... It's a 212 kilowatt-hour battery pack. that gets 400 and something miles of range.
Sitting here at 50% and still have 227 miles. So
yeah, it's like, it would be an expensive road trip, but this would be like the family, like take the family to the beach.
Yep.
You just get in and go. You drive literally however long you can stand to drive, and whenever you stop, you charge up for.
This would be
20 minutes.
one of these vehicles you don't have to plan your charging stops on certain things. You
No,
can
you
say,
just
hey,
go.
I'm going to charge 20% here and then 30% down the road because I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to have to stop sometime between here and 400
You can
miles.
just go, right? You have all of the flexibility. We'll charge up to 100% before you leave the house, if you can.
Yep. Yes.
And then you just hit the road and you drive and you stop whenever you want to stop. And I mean, that's what makes like this of a Sierra or of a Silverado RST. That's what really makes them driving cars, like, or road tripping cars. Is that right there? It's like, yes, it's going to be expensive, right? Because you're filling up a 212 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is essentially like saying, oh, I'm going to take, you know, my gas Escalade that has a 30-gallon tank or whatever and fill it up. It's like, yes, it's going to cost you, but if you drive one of these things, you're probably not worried about that anyway.
Nope. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Go give the keys. Unfortunately, give the keys back to our buddy here, Mark, here at Parker Cadillac. And we will see you again on another EV Geek Studio podcast review. So long, everyone.